most people don't know what it is. I don't think we can get a lot of people that.
Oh, when there she was, used to be many long years ago.
Well, I think we've been given a pretty good introduction already from John over there. If you want to know any more, I guess you can go to our website.
See John afterwards.
But we're the McKenzies. We came over from Lynchburg. I think we were here about a year ago. And the concert we did when we were here before was, I think, totally original. We've got a couple of albums that are a compilation of all original pieces that represent probably more than 20 years of writing songs and discarding most of them and saying they're not worth it, but the best ones we kept, right? But some of those songs that we have on those albums, in particular some of the songs Marcia has written, they're either parodies or they're what we call the folk process. And so we decided to do a whole evening of examples of the folk process. It's just going to be like Monty Python. We're going to do a bunch of different kinds of music for you this evening and show you how I know you all, probably half of you out there at least, are good musicians. And you know, you wonder where do these songs come from and why do people keep singing them? And I don't know whether you noticed that one example just then. That was an old black spiritual. And then it turned into a campaign song for Lincoln. And then it turned into a pop song called The Old Gray Mare, which I don't know whether you recognize the first two versions. So what are we going to do now, Marcia?
So throughout the evening we're going to show you some of these processes, but we're also going to have quizzes here and there. You know, so if you can figure out what song we're going to be referring to. This time we're going to play an old song that was a minstrel era song, and then it turned into another melody that you all may know. If you think about it, we'll see if you can figure it out as we're getting towards it.
But honestly, and we're going to do one more. This is a fiddle tune and a song. The original song was "My Grandmother Lived on Yonder Little Green," which was derived from an 18th century Irish air, "The Old Rose Tree." So, can you imagine what this song is going to turn into?
I didn't do anything. Wanted to sometimes, but you know, you love them, but they sure can drive you crazy sometimes. I'll sing a few verses. I won't sing all the verses that I wrote.
Maybe this song is "Oh My Dog."
original song was that I...
Groundhog.
Groundhog.
We got a ringer out there. Russ is a ringer.
3 notes.
3 notes. You got it 3 notes.
Well, Woody's going to sing just a couple verses of the original Groundhog song, which is a traditional song. Played a lot more time. And just so you can kind of hear where the Oh My Dog came from.
Shoulder up your gun and whistle up your dog. Shoulder up your gun and whistle up your dog. We're off to the woods to catch a groundhog. Oh, groundhog. Here comes Sal with the 10-foot pole. Here comes Sal with the 10-foot pole. Twist that whistle pig out of his hole. Oh, groundhog. This next song, I don't know how you're moved by songs or not, but I heard some people sing this song. And you know how you get, they're like earworms, they get stuck in your head. But there was something about the feeling that come out of this song that I really, really liked. But the words were just nasty. Nasty words, just the worst words. And got to looking it up, you know, and I told Marcia, you know,
we need to sing the song, but we need to have some more different words to the song.
I told Marcia, why don't you work on this and come up with a different song? And then we looked it up too. This song is at least from, well, it's 1500s probably.
It was about somebody who was executed in 1701.
But the melody was even prior to that. And if you think about ballads, typically a ballad, it's not a verse and a chorus. A ballad is just telling a story. So it's like one verse after the next verse after the next verse. But this one has a refrain in it. So you've always got that repeating sort of chorus
so you can sing
built
along.
into the verse. So you can sing along with this one.
But the original song is called Captain Kidd, and there were lots of different melodies associated with it. I think this particular melody kind of got hooked with it in the folk scare of the 60s. Pete Seeger and some others sang it. But it's about Captain Kidd, who was apparently a really bad dude, a captain, who murdered people and did all kinds of things. And the song tells about how he made all these confessions on his when he was getting ready to be executed, which apparently didn't really happen. But anyway, makes a good song. So I'm going to go through and go probably only about 3 verses, and then that's enough. Oh, my name is Captain Kidd, as I sail, my name is Captain Kidd, as I sail. Oh, my name is Captain Kidd, and God's laws I did forbid, and most wickedly I did, as I sailed, as I sailed. My parents taught me well, as I sailed, as I sailed. My parents taught me well, as I sailed. My parents taught me well to shun the gates of hell, but against them I rebelled, as I sailed, as I sailed. I murdered William Moore, as I sailed, as I sailed. I murdered William Moore, as I sailed. I murdered William Moore, and I left him in his core, many leagues away from shore, as I sailed, as I sailed. It only gets worse after that. So that just gives you a little taste. So then, back in, when was it? 2009, I think.
I'm curious, who's heard that song before?
You want to hear that
So a
song?
few people have.
Back in 2009, we do these public library shows for kids in the summer sometimes, and they always have a theme of the summer reading program theme. And back in 2009, the theme was using your imagination, creativity, that kind of thing. And we had a few songs that would fit that. We try to find songs that will fit the theme. But we really didn't have that many. And I got to thinking, you know, maybe I'd try to write a song. And then I remembered that Woody liked this, you know, we'd heard this melody that we really wanted to write a song to at some point. And somehow the two came together. And I wrote a song more about using your imagination to that melody. But it's quite a different song now from the Captain Kidd song. So see if you like it. And please do sing along if you can. I can use my magic powers in my mind, in my mind. I can use my magic powers in my mind. I can use my magic powers, turn the sunshine into showers, make the rocks like flowers in my mind. In my mind, I can dream that I am you. In my mind, in my mind, I can dream that I am you. In my mind, I can dream that I am you. Try to see your point of view. Maybe feel your feelings too. In my mind, there's another world I see. In my mind, full of peace and harmony. In my mind, and if it's inside of me, maybe I can set it free, so that it won't only be in my mind. In my mind.
This is an Irish song. Yeah, well, it's an Irish song. It's about drinking and dying. Well, actually, this is about dying and drinking.
And then you'll see how it was appropriated here.
I've traveled all over this world, and now to another I go. And I know that good brothers are waiting to welcome old Rosin Bow. Oh, to welcome old Rosin Bow, to welcome old Rosin Bow. And I know that good quarters are waiting to welcome old Rosin Bow. When I'm dead and laid out on the counter, well, boys, you will hear from me low, saying, send down a hogshead of whiskey to drink with old Rosin Bow. Sing it. Oh, to drink with old Rosin Bow, to drink with old Rosin Bow. Saying, send down a hogshead of whiskey to drink with old Rosin Bow. Choice of the nation, our chieftain so brave and so true. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. We'll go for the son of Kentucky, the hero of Hoosiers and Blue. Oh, the bride of the suckers so lucky, for Lincoln and liberty too. So anyway, Marion's mother asked me, I guess she's trying to connect with me somewhere or other. She said, do you know any Woody Guthrie music? Because my name's Woody, so I must know all of Woody Guthrie's songs. Obviously from that. And I said, well, we are going to do one song that Woody Guthrie wrote tonight. And this is another interesting example of the folk process, because this song was written originally not a song, it was a tune, and it was written by a fellow named Carey Mills. And then there was a rage in the early 1900s for Native American music. And so Carey Mills...
This is after Hiawatha came out. And
Carey Mills gave this tune a name. And then after he gave it the name, then he got someone to write some lyrics. Some sort of, well, you'll hear the lyrics here in a minute. So what does that have to do with Woody Guthrie? Well, listen. You want me to play it first?
Sure. And then between.
By the way, this song means a lot to me. My mother played this song on the mandolin, and my father would back her up. They'd play Golden Slippers, and then they'd go into this tune.
song. It's kind of like the Captain Kidd song. We heard this song being sung that we thought was just such a gorgeous melody. And we really wanted to sing it, but some of the words, the words, we just couldn't relate totally to the words, and they were a little bit sad, and we just thought, it might be fun to use that melody and write a new song. So we're going to sing a little bit of the old melody, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the other song that I wrote to it after that. Come with me to the old churchyard. I so well know those paths beneath the soft green sward. Friends slumber there that we want to regard. We will trace out their names in the old churchyard. Mourn not for them, their trials are o'er, and why weep for them who will weep no more? For sweet is their sleep, though cold and hard. Their pillows may be beneath the old churchyard. It's a beautiful melody.
It's a really happy song, don't you?
It's all about don't cry for them, they're in a better place now. Don't cry for me when I die, I'm going to be in a better place.
And if you want to hear the other two verses, it goes downhill from there.
So anyway, I'm from Ithaca, New York, and I grew up, lived there since I was 9, and from pretty early on, I had discovered this place that was kind of, it was walking distance, biking distance from my house. I loved to go there because it was like a lookout. You could sit there and look. Ithaca's down in a little valley at the end of a lake with hills all around. So I would go up there, and this was on one of the hills, and I could look down and watch the town, everything going on in the town, and the boats going up and down in the lake, and people bustling around in town, and cars going up on the hill on the other side, and everything. And just I felt sort of above it all, like I could sort of meditate or reflect a lot on this. And it was just a real special place for me, a really calming place. And then 2 years ago, I went back to Ithaca because my father was really ill, and he was a really healthy man most all of his life, and he went really downhill in the last 2 months. And I was there, especially the last month with him, and watched him go from being really robust man to just kind of fading away. And that was a really emotional, difficult time to go through and stressful. And then after he passed away, I stayed up there for a while and tried to sort through his things and figure out what to sell and what to give away and what to keep and everything. After we'd gone through all of this and we were heading home, I remembered this place, and I thought, let me go by and see if it's still there. So I drove by on my way out of town, and sure enough, it was still there. It hadn't really changed much. So I went and sat there for a little while and looked out over the town. And it just looked like, everything was going on as normal. The town was still bustling around, people were going around doing their business and everything, and nothing had really changed. But my whole life had totally changed, and it just got me to thinking a lot about, what lasts and what really matters and that kind of thing. So when I sort of wrote some memoirs about this last year, and then when we came across this melody and we were trying to come up with a new song for it, new words, I remembered this kind of experience that I had, and it seemed to kind of fit. So I wrote these words instead. Come with me to a place I know, where I used to sit in the long ago. High on a hill, I would rest my soul as I gazed on the town nestled far below. And as all the world hurried on through the day, I sat in silence above the fray. So long ago, but I remember still the embrace of that quieting place on the hill. Home once again, I have said my goodbyes to a father who faded before my eyes. The stuff of his life tossed away or sold, I return to that quieting place of old. And I wonder what matters and what will last when our time on this earth has finally passed. The bustle of life, it will be here still. I can see from this quieting place on the hill. things that we do and the people we touch. Perhaps that is all, and perhaps that's enough. Perhaps that's our mark, what will be here still. When there's no one to sit in that place on the hill. So here's one that I'm sure you know. One version of this, the Scottish version, but we're going to play an Irish tune that was, or an Irish song that was written to the same melody, and it's not really clear which one came first. So we'll see if you can. I'm sure you'll figure it out. But we'll do the one you may not have heard this Irish one, but it's a beautiful song too.
Come over the hills, my bonny Irish lass. Come over the hills till you're gone. You choose the rose, love, and I'll make the vow, and I'll be your true love forever. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the point, but my love is fairer than any. My love is fairer than any.
So what is the song?
By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny breeze, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. You take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll get to Scotland before ye, but me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
That's a pretty sad song too. Anybody know much about what that means?
You know what it means to take the low road?
One prisoner would be set free and another one would be condemned to die on the same day. So the one that gets to go home is taking the high road. You know, he's going to be alive when he gets there. And the one that's taking the low road is going through the spirit world. And he says he's going to get there before.
He'll get there before the other guy, because he's already dead in the spirit world, heading back home.
So now you're going to be really sad every time you sing. You're singing with such a happy song. Oh,
Here, Marcia, do something fun.
okay.
I'll let her play it once in a while.
We say we'll win, the roots they will die, and the roots they will die. You'll be forsaken, and you'll be forsaken, and never know why, and never know why. Tom Paxton, 1961.
Gee, Marcia, I feel like you're really connected with the audience. There's so many old sad love ballads, or ballads of unrequited love, whatever you want to call it. The first song we're going to sing is called Down by the Sally Gardens. Do you know what Sally are?
No.
Sally Gardens are the willow gardens. And some of you, Russell would know this. There's a pretty popular, or Glenn would know it, there's a pretty popular ballad around here, Down by the Willow Garden. And that song is derived from this original song, but that song is actually about a murder. A guy killed his love.
There's a lot of old songs like that. Drowning her.
He said, well, first
cutting her little fingers up.
this one, if you want to look this one up, he fed her burglar wine. In other words, he put her to sleep with wine, and then he murdered her, and then he threw her in the river. And she has a name. This was a real story. Sally was the word for willow gardens, and that's where you know, I don't know whether you think about this, but willows are what you make baskets out of. So you've got these willow thickets down along the creek or the river, and that's where the lovers could get together and hide and be private if you've got a little village. So you go down to the Sally Gardens, right?
And that's where the women often
now you get it.
live to regret later on. Used and tossed.
So anyway, what I'm saying is, this is the folk process. We won't sing that one about murdering her with putting her to sleep with burglar wine and murdering her, but you can check that one out. People sing that one around here, and they sing it up tempo too. It's almost bluegrass tempo.
But we'll sing the Sally Gardens. It's not about murder. It's sad.
No, it's just sad.
And then we'll talk about the song that got used later on.
Down by the Sally Gardens, my love and I did meet. She passed the Sally Gardens with little snow white feet. She bid me take love easy as the grass grows on the but I was young and foolish, and now am full of tears. Thank you.
So there's a modern composer. I think he lives in Chicago. His name is Douglas Wagner. I'm not sure exactly when he wrote this song using that melody. He's a choral composer, so he's written and he's written works for orchestra and for choruses. And several years back, we played along with a chorus in Lynchburg called Fascination Chorus, and they were doing an Irish show, and we accompanied them on some pieces, and they sang this song, and we just thought it was so pretty that we adopted it for part of our repertoire. So it uses the same melody, but it's a very different song. It's not about Willow Gardens or Sally Gardens or anything like that. Let's see if you like this.
This is about as religious as I get with this next one. It's called A Celtic Blessing. May the blessings of light be with you. May the sunshine warm your heart. May the love of Christ enfold you and never Thank you. On this next one, I think this is a great example of the folk process. The first song we're going to sing was written by Henry Clay Work, 1865. On a summer's day, when the wave was rippled by the softest, gentlest breeze, did a ship set sail with a cargo laden for a port beyond the seas. There were sweet farewells, there were loving signals, while the form was yet discerned. Though they knew it not, it was a solemn parting, for the ship she never returned. Did she never return? She never returned, and her fate is yet unlearned. Though for years and years there were fond ones watching, yet the ship she never returned. So this next song has a very special meaning, and I'm sure that you can all sing along with us. There's 11 verses. I'm only going to sing about 4 verses. By the way, historically, this next song was recorded by Vernon Dalhart in the 1920s. Vernon Dalhart was an opera singer. This was one of the very first big hits that sold hundreds of thousands of copies. He was coming down that mountain, making 90 miles an hour, when his whistle broke into a scream. He was down in the wreck with his hand on the throttle, stalled at the end by the stream.
So not only was that one of the first big country hits, but it was also the first big copyright lawsuit.
Really?
Because
Do I need some more
a lot
water?
of different people,
Do you need more water?
no, several different people claim to have written that song, which was probably, they did. Probably a lot of people used that melody, which was so familiar to people, and wrote versions of Record of the Old 97.
And that's why there's so many verses to it, because people came up with their own. It's such an easy melody to add lyrics to.
So when we sing that song, we often ask people where they think that melody came from, what other older song would have come from. And people mention this song that we're going to do right now, which actually came much later.
This is 1948.
Wow.
But you may be familiar with this one. You knew all the verses or just some?
I don't know. Let's see how it works. I'm stretching here because I've never sung this song except twice, yesterday and this morning. Let me tell you a story about a man named Charlie on a tragic and fateful day. He put 10 cents in his pocket, kissed his wife and family, went to ride on the MTA. Charlie handed in his dime at Kendall Square Station and changed for Jamaica plane. When he got there, the conductor told him, one more nickel, Charlie could not get off that train. Did he ever return? No, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned. He may ride forever through the streets of Boston. He's a man who never returned. As the train rolled underneath the greater Boston, Charlie looked around and sighed. Well, I'm sore and disgusted, and I'm absolutely busted. I guess this is my last long ride. Now, you citizens of Boston, don't you think it's a scandal that the people have to pay and pay? Vote for Walter A. O'Brien and fight for fair increase and get poor Charlie off the MTA. Or else he'll never return. No, he'll never return, and his fate will be unlearned. He may ride forever neath the streets of Boston. He's the man.
Who's the man?
He's the man.
Oh, the man!
He's the man who never returned.
unique in American political history.
You want to feed us in some background on that?
He lost.